we should pray that we be prepared for the answers to our prayers. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2, the Torah portion, Toldot. Let's continue reading now in the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter number 25. And it says in verse 20 and following, and Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rivkah as wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Lavan the Aramean. And Yitzhak prayed to Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh answered his prayer, and Rivkah, his wife, conceived. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, "If all is right, why am I this way?" So she went to ask Yahweh. Yahweh said to her, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people shall be separated from your body, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger." When the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, so they called his name Esau. And afterward his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel, so his name was called Yaakov. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore them. A lot of information kind of hidden in the reading of those words. So we understand that Yitzhak takes Rivkah as wife. He's 40 years old when this takes place. So from the time of his being offered on the altar until his marriage was 3 years. At least that's what we understand. So he's 40 years old. He takes Rivkah as wife. All seems to be well. But there is a continuing generational problem. We see it in the first 3 generations of the patriarchs. Sarah, obviously, as we have studied, was for a long period of her marriage to Abraham barren. Yitzhak, it shows us, as he is 40 years old when they marry and 60 years old when Rivkah finally gives birth to their sons. That means then for about 19 years, he prayed for her to conceive, and it took 20 years for them to have sons. 20 years. When Yaakov, later on as we read, marries Leah and also then marries Rachel, initially Leah is barren, although she becomes very apt at having children. And for a long period of time, Rachel has a time of barrenness to which she comes to the place where she almost despises her life for her barrenness. Why would the matriarchs, the women that are supposed to be key in fostering the building of a nation, why are they barren? You would think that they should be extremely fertile and capable of having many children. Initially, at least, that's not the case. And even after Rivkah has her twin sons, we don't read that they have any more children. So for one short opportunity, she is able to conceive and give birth. It would seem then for the rest of their lives that there are no children, at least no one that we read of. Again, to build a nation, you need children. You need multiple generations. To build a family, there has to be offspring. And it doesn't seem to be an easy thing to accomplish for these very key men. So it takes prayer. I love the rabbinical take that says that these women were initially barren because it caused their husbands to pray for them, interceding for them to be able to conceive, and that Yah loves to hear the prayers of his chosen ones. That being said, then, we might understand that Yah allows some troubling, struggling circumstances enter our lives in order to provoke us to pray because he wants to talk to us. Now, before we get angry at Yah or kind of get puffed up, well, that's just not right. Think about it. When life is good and all things are in their proper place and there's no challenges really to be experienced, it is the tendency, the humanity of man to fail to pray. So we can't blame anyone but ourselves, to be honest. Taking this a little bit further, then, we see then that there is a key word that is used pertaining to Yitzhak's intercession, and that is the word vayater. It means a long and entreating intercession. Now, we might think that Yah only heard him the last time that he prayed before his wife conceived. In actuality, Yah was listening to him all along, being entreated by him. But Yah knew the seasons of time. He knew that the means by which the conception should take place. There had to be twins. It couldn't be a single child. So the reproductive situation had to be in such a way that there were twins in the womb. The prophecy is that there is to be two nations separated. This is by Yah's hand and design. So it could be that it just took almost 20 years for that particular situation to work out exactly right. We don't know. But it was shown then that Yahweh was entreated by him, a very close spelling, vayater, I can't pronounce that one correctly, by him so that she did conceive. It's just one vowel marking different. So we see then that Yah has allowed Yitzhak to pray on a long-term and continual fashion until he has prevailed in prayer. The same prayer that produces Yaakov, who will be the continuance of the lineage, and the one from whom we get the name Israel, the same prayer that was answered to give us Yaakov gave us Esau. Think about that. Sometimes we may be praying for one particular thing. We are genuinely focused in one area, but the same prayer that gets answered for that may also produce this. We had no idea about this, didn't ask for this, but in order to get that, we got to accept this. We don't always understand why Yah does what he does. But there is a significant role and purpose for Esau. He has to show up on the scene. There are situations that develop down through the annals of history and continue developing even into our day where Esau plays a particular role. He has to be there for a reason. I'm not equating Esau with Hasatan, but Hasatan was a created being, or is a created being. There is a certain role that needs to be played. There is a certain means that has to be acted out. Even that origin or that embodiment of evil has a role to play, and Yah uses it to further his will. We may not enjoy it, but that's how it works. So our point today is that when you're praying, as you are focused on the answer that you're looking for, also be mindful that the answer may include situations, circumstances, consequences that you are not anticipating. So along with your intercessions, maybe it would be prudent for us to say, and Father, grant me the ability, grant me your grace to handle the answer and its fullness and all that it encompasses, so that I'm not overwhelmed by the answer to the prayer that I'm offering. Just a thought. and we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.